Oh, we are live. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another video here on the Narik Chase channel. I'm your boy Narik Chase, and I have with me again is KP. He's in the
Woohoo!
house. And for the 152nd episode of Breaking the Base, we're going to be discussing Alien 3. This is not a review. We're just critiquing it and telling our thoughts of how the movie could have been better.
There is a lot.
Yes. Yes, there is. Uh, now, for those who don't know, Alien 3 is the third installment of the Alien series. Came out in 1992, directed by David Fincher, and it's set right after the events of Aliens, and where Ripley and alien organism end up crash landing on a prison planet. Well, Ripley ends up crashing on a prison planet, and alien ends up through certain events. An alien ends up on the planet as well. So now she has to team up with the inmates to survive. That's the gist of
Pretty much.
it. So, Ken, what are your thoughts?
Well, I was disappointed that the two of the characters we saw from Aliens 2 were taken out in the storyline. Newt and I'm trying to think of his name now. Not Clemens. Hicks. Because I liked them. I liked the characters, but they ended up dying in the initial crash. And then we find out that there was a facehugger snuck aboard, got away in the thing, and gets a hold of a dog, if I remember right.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is where the uniqueness. If you read any of the Alien or Alien Predator comics, this is where you find out that the aliens basically take whatever genetic host they have and adapt to that host, which makes the challenge more interesting every planet that the Predators use the aliens on. So in this case, it got hit. It jumped to a dog, and then the little baby alien, when it pops out, it's four-legged and runs like a dog. It looks like a cat, actually, a really creepy-looking cat. And then it keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, but that was cool. That was one of the things I did have a plus on, that you did see the diversity, not just the humanoid-looking xenomorphs that we know,
Mm-hmm.
but that the facehuggers, have one thing to do, and that's breed, create the encounter, and then after that comes the xenomorphs. So yes, that was cool. And and it's sneaking around. It's pretty quiet too as it sneaks around, because it's a very large prison with a very small prison population. Because I think it was like, I forgot what they used to do, some kind of smelting or something. I mean, the place is just ginormous, and it just basically has gone left unattended for all these years.
I think everybody can agree, and I'm not really the one to be like, okay, if you have a sequel, the characters from the previous movie should have been in the sequel or something like that. Because I don't believe Ripley should be in all the alien movies. I think that's stupid. The xenomorph is a species that spans the galaxy.
Yep.
So it shouldn't be one character that's encountering them all the time.
No,
But
no.
I do think that Hicks and Newt shouldn't have died. They shouldn't have been written off. I would have rather they've been recast. But those two characters should have been in the movie.
Yeah, they should have been in there for a little bit, if anything. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
We grew to know him in Aliens 2. Newt survived the basically the alien outbreak there. So, I mean, she should have easily, you would hope that she survived the impact of a crash. I mean, I would think that, the escape pods on the ship would be made for different environments. So I don't know why they all were dead.
They were written off. That's what it was.
Yeah, it just, kind of blows. But I would have liked to see an interaction with, at least, even if they get knocked off, at least, carry the characters for a little bit and then kill them off or do something. I mean, come on.
My thing was they should have just recast them. if they are that likable of a character, recast them. Because
Well,
think about it.
they did that in
They didn't.
Riddick.
They did in Terminator.
Oh yeah, they definitely did in Terminator. They did it in Riddick.
If you can't get the original cast, especially if they supporting actors, they should have just recast them. That was just a straight up travesty. That would have made for a more familiar dynamic of character.
Yeah, they all know, and they're trying to appeal that, hey, we got a serious problem, and you don't want to be around here when it happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we need to get the hell out of Dodge, or figure out a way to resolve this problem one way or another. Something's got to happen.
So that right there, that was one of my biggest problems. In fact, a lot of people did not like that. That was one of the leading factors of the film. That not only was a leading factor for most people that didn't like it, it was a leading factor for a major plot hole. Because if you go by what the movie shown and the movie shown and everything, you don't even understand how the hell the damn alien, the facehugger was there.
Yeah, like they just kind of briefly covered at the beginning of it, and I mean, like briefly, like probably 10 seconds.
Not even that. It's like, so wait a minute.
Well, you see it crawling, then you see it spraying, and it sets off the fire alarm, which makes the cryopods eject. But they leave it at that. You don't know exactly who the facehugger got, if it got anybody, or if it just got stuck in the tube. Or I mean, you left with a big question mark until that very first scene when that dog gets taken out, and you're like, oh, okay. Well, the dog got taken out. But
even that don't make sense, because think about this. Okay, the facehugger started a fire alarm, whatever, which I don't understand why the hell the facehugger would be trying to get them in the tube anyway. Because
they were in cryostasis.
Yeah, like it shouldn't even known that they were alive. I could understand if it was wandering, it hatched and it was wandering around, and then one of them came out of stasis and then it got them.
Yeah,
that makes more sense.
Yeah, but it actually being intelligent enough to know what a cryopod is when they didn't even have them on the planet they started out originally.
Yeah, like that, like there go a plot
failure.
That started the fire or whatever, and then so they crash land in the water and stuff. So
you would think that an escape pod would have had precautions to retrojet, have parachutes, something.
But my thing was, if it started the fire, ejected the pods or whatever, which I still don't understand how they were in stasis and they got ejected in pods. Like I
thought the ship was on fire.
But that's just the thing. But if they're in the middle of the ship, how did the things go into pods? I'd understand if the ship was on fire and it woke them up and then they got in the pods. But it automatically shoved them into escape pods. Like, I don't understand that part.
Well, it wasn't like they instantly wake up from the sleeping process, and they probably would even be cognizant of what's going on anyway.
I mean, I can understand that too.
I'm not so rough on that part. What I'm rough on is the fact that A, it did eject, and B, it didn't really come up with anything, as far as we know, to save their ass when they came into the atmosphere. Because you would think that, A, they know it's launching off a space platform somewhere. It would have to have some kind of reentry, and it would have to have some kind of stopping point. Or else they might as well just blown up with the ship in the first place.
Because what happened? Hicks got crushed, basically.
Yeah, he got smooshed.
Newt drowned.
I thought she was decapitated.
No, she drowned.
Oh.
The acid, the one.
Oh, hers was the tube that got messed up. Okay.
Yeah. So that's where the water got her. But the thing about it is, and this is another inconsistency, where there was like Ripley was the one that got affected, but how?
Yeah. See, there's that big fat question mark.
And everybody's like, okay, well maybe. And I've read up on it. They said
we know the facehuggers only hit one person. That's it. That's all they can do.
But I've read that they have, I guess, to go with that canon that they're, and I think they've done it somewhere else where they said they have a super facehugger that can do 2 implants.
Bull crap. There's no.
And it kind of makes sense because it was like, okay, the 2 implants are a warrior and a queen, and of course, if you do the warrior, the warrior and the queen, you have somebody to protect the queen. And I was like, that kind of makes sense, but it doesn't explain how she got caught. Because if it got her in cryo sleep, then she should have drowned.
Yeah.
So that's like, and then how the damn face hugger survived the crash landing, I don't understand either.
Exactly. It would have been melted like bacon.
Or crushed or something.
Yeah, splattered like a big bag of goop.
So
But
if the best way I could state it is this: say Hicks woke up or something. Say, I'd say this: I'd say Hicks woke up. Perhaps an alien got on the ship. In the effort to save Newt and the Ripley, Hicks ejected them, and I guess you could say the alien killed him.
sure.
Or whatever. And then it'd have been Newt and Ripley. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
They would have been on the planet together. I could have rolled with that because at least he was like, okay, if I'm going to die, at least I'd die fighting this damn thing. Like I could deal with that. And like with his dying breath or whatever, he blows the ship up or some shit like that. Okay, fine. I can roll with that. You gave him an admirable death. Yes, it was a horseshoe in, but at least he didn't die from being in stasis and crash landing.
Yeah, 0 to 60 and no hero.
So I could have dealt with that one. That's if they were gonna play it that way, I would have dealt with that one, and it would have made sense for one of those face huggers to have been on board because you could say, hey, the drone or whatever brought the egg on board. Okay, I could roll with that. So like I said, I can understand everybody be pissed off about them characters getting killed off, and it's not they got killed off; it's how they got killed off.
Yeah, it was pretty pointless.
Another character that got killed off that made me mad. I actually liked this freaking character. In fact, he was one of the best characters, if not the best character. Was Clemens, Charles Dance's character.
Which one was he?
He was the one that had the relationship with Ripley.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Like he was the one person like you liked. He wasn't, and this is another problem. Like all the characters are assholes in the movie. Like almost everybody is a unlikable character. And Charles Dance was the only character out that whole bunch. And you could say Charles Dutton. He was one of those guys that kind of grows on you. He actually has a bit of, you know what I'm saying? He's decent. If everybody else is like garbage, he's like the least amount of garbage. And then above him is Charles Dance's character. So I really wish his character could have survived to the end or something, because he was a likable guy, and they killed him off like what halfway through the movie.
Yeah, he pretty much.
Yeah, they shouldn't have done. How you the one guy that you actually like, you kill him off? I'm like, wow, really? And then like we were saying again about the criminals, most of the criminals, the warden, everybody's a jackass in the movie. Not all of them criminals should have been rapists and all of that. There could have been somebody, I don't know, a thief, somebody that accidentally killed someone, somebody that got arrested got court-martialed or something. Like all of the criminals there, they were all like rapists and murderers and stuff. And I'm like, come on now, really? There was no diversity among them. And then the way they all dressed, everybody looked the same. They literally looked the same. Like that was one of the problems with the characters I didn't like. The only one I actually did like was Morse, because he was the only one that survived.
At the very end, yeah.
Yeah, I liked him because he had the best lines. He had some awesome lines in the movie. The little part he has the little tit for tat with Ripley. I enjoyed that line. He was like, There's no ice cream, no weapons. I love that. I love that line he
It
threw
says
out on that part.
nothing here.
You said what?
There's nothing here.
Yeah. Like this is what they could have did with the characters to make the characters more likable. They should have had some more of a staff. They should have had some kind of staff. Not saying necessarily women be on there because it is a prison planet or whatever, but they could have had like four guys that were like civilians or something that worked there as well, and they could have diversified the criminals, gave them a bit that would have gave them more personality. Not all of them had to be a part of this whole religious thing that they had. But what did you think?
I think they were just a cast off, left, forgotten group of people. Because I mean, like I say, we just the place itself was just falling apart. It was just a giant scrapyard, and they were just melting stuff down. And even then, it hadn't been done in probably who knows how long. I think they were just left there to die, and they formed their own society as best as they could for what they were doing. But I did like. I thought Morris was pretty funny, especially at the end. But I don't know. The setup was great. You know,
Yes.
the planet being the way it was, and you know, you have the eerie. You know, because we've had, you know, and Aliens. You had the Nostradamus. You had Aliens 2. You had the Sulaco / the planet, which the planet is where actually they found the original critters on anyway. It was just terraformed, and that plays into the pre-series that we saw with Prometheus and all them. That's kind of how that
Oh,
ends up rolling.
I'm gonna forget I watched that garbage.
You almost did. I reminded you. But they tie in. There's
Yeah.
a direct tie-in. There's a direct correlation to the Wayland Corporation, to Prometheus, to the planet that they were on in Alien 2. It all is tied together. You know, it may be several hundred years difference because of space and hyper sleep or whatever they want to call it. You know, but it all rolls into it. The only thing that would have been cool is that it had Michael show up in Aliens 3.
Okay.
That would have been a very well. I mean, granted, now remember Prometheus and them were written 20 years later, so but that would have been a cool add-on. That would have made the movie a little more solid because then it would tie in the original movies into the extended series movies, Prometheus and all, because that's where he ended up going anyway. And if you follow the reading and a lot of the storylines, they all intertwine together, which I thought was kind of interesting because we were getting ready to talk about that like a few months ago on the Prometheus series, and I was like, let me read into it. And I started kind of reading on the Wikipedia and some of the stuff they had written from the story writers and stuff, and they were like, yeah, this ties into this. You know, he leaves this planet, he goes to this planet, and they kind of do all this setup, and I'm like, oh, okay. Gotcha. Now I can understand how it all ties together. But I think the planet was set up right. I think, you know, the storyline was good. I think the problem, though, is we really needed to at least keep Newt or Hicks. You know,
Yes.
one of the two. We really needed them in there for sure.
Yeah.
To help anchor Ripley's character. Yes, we could have fleshed out the prison to be a little more than it was.
Yeah, more diverse cast.
Add you know, some staff, add some, you know, little extras here and there. But again, I think the concept of this planet was basically they were put there to die. No one cared about them anymore. Nobody wanted it. They were just there until they just died.
I can understand, but they really should have diversified that cast because they made most of the characters you don't like.
Well, I mean, yeah, they were all pretty much just blah.
Yeah, because you think about it, you can go to prison, but not everybody in prison is murderers.
No.
That's what even they could have they could have had somebody that was in there for like a mining accident. It wasn't, and that would have been something that you could have, or have some of the people that they've had play prisoners play civilian roles. Like the one guy, I can't remember his freaking name, because he's played in a lot of really good movies. I'm trying to think of what's this guy's freaking name. Is it what's this guy's name? Peter Postlewaite? Yeah. Peter, like his character, he could have been like a therapist or something.
Okay. I see what you're going with that.
Yeah. It could have been some more civilian type, and it would have made sense for him to be in there anyway for those types of people. You know, and I'm like, wow, they just ruined the whole character thing. And because of the way that the prisoners were designed and everything, everybody looked the freaking same.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Well, I mean, granted, we would see standard prison uniforms and stuff like that. So, I mean, I don't really look beyond that. What
Yeah.
makes the difference is the content of the character, not necessarily what they look like. What made them different? You know, I mean, we had our 2 or 3 guys. You know, Morris and
The Dave the pasta wig guy.
Clemens, and what's the other dude who bit the bullet not too long enough for that? But you
It
had
was
like 3 or 4 that stood out. The
Yeah.
rest were just supporting background noise.
Yeah.
You know,
This is what I would say would happen. I could happen. Going off the whole Higgs thing, what if the alien stashed the egg away in the escape pod? Kind of far fetched, fine. Uh, so Ripley and the girl make it to the planet. The egg isn't hatched yet. It probably should be, but it ain't. They saved those girls, and going off of what they were saying about the super face hugger, have that face hugger implant the dog, right?
yeah.
And say the dog's owner comes to see about the dog, and
Gets him
then
too.
that face hugger gets him too.
Yeah.
And I think this movie would have been good had they played up off the idea that there was a queen growing, and there was a drone protecting her by killing them off.
Yeah.
That way, when the Utani people got there, I would have liked to seen a battle between the Utani guys and the aliens.
Well, remember in Aliens 2, they had the queen, and she was using the people there to hatch the eggs.
But yeah,
So why would he's not going to need to kill off anybody. They're just going to need to grab and bag them, stick them to a wall, and let them get implanted by a facehugger that the queen lays.
we can go with that idea. It'll do what we didn't see in part 2.
Exactly.
In part 2,
I mean, I can understand you want to get rid of the threats first. I mean, that's what most of the people on that planet, the ones who died, were like the people with guns and soldiers, and it took them out as the threat. And that what the drone could do in this movie is take out the potential threats, but the rest are target practice. Grab them, bag them, tag them, stick them to the wall, and hatch some eggs. Now we have Xenomorph City going on here, you know, with however many people are left that get done. Wayland and them show up, and like she's like, look, we're majorly screwed here. If you want some game, you're going to have to come down here and get them yourself.
Yes.
And then we have, you know, a cool section of Alien 2 moving to Alien 3.
Yeah, and that's what I would have liked to have seen. I basically want Alien 3 to be how Alien 2 be like a prequel to Alien 2. In Alien 2, we saw what happened after the infestation took over.
Yes.
Alien 3 could have been what happened while they was trying to take over.
Yeah, but on a different planet in a different situation, but the concept's the same. The sole purpose is breed, survive, adapt.
Exactly.
And we take out, we see what happened. We see that the drone takes out the threats. Then the drone starts getting the remainder people, even though they're hiding. They keep dropping them like flies, which we did kind of see briefly. No, actually, they killed all of them. They were all dead meat.
Yeah.
Nobody.
That one sequence, he killed like 15 people.
Yeah, there was nobody saved in that one. Yeah, they were pretty much toast.
But even like right there with that sequence, that would have made more sense if it was more xenomorphs.
Sure.
See?
And then like one of them, you know, somebody was secretly implanted with the queen. Next thing you know, boop. Hey, we just found out dude had a queen in him. All right, now we're gonna have some real fun around here.
Mm-hmm. See,
Yep. See, we could do that.
see, we could have roll with that.
And then they just drop a big ass nuke on them and get rid of everybody.
And that way, hell,
End of the movie.
Ripley gets an ending.
Yep, she gets vaporized. Everybody has a good day. Life is good.
So also, okay, what did you think about the whole Utani part? You think it was relevant? Or should have been in the movie?
About them coming to get the queen?
Yeah.
Well, we knew that. Well, let me rephrase that. We knew there was interest in them coming to this Alien 2 because what's his face? The curly hair guy, Paul.
Yeah.
Paul
Bert.
Reiser's character.
Yeah, Bert.
Bert, who was there. He was there to secure it. He tried to get them infected, and then cryo-freeze them and bring them back with the alien in them. So we know that Utani Wayland was already interested in them, and they already knew about it. But we also know now from Prometheus, they knew a long time ago about these things, but they could just never get their hands on them. So now they have a means and a method. So now Utani gets the report from the scanner saying, "Oh, hey, by the way, you got a queen egg in you. We're coming to get you." You know, but see, here's the thing. Here's one of those other plot holes. Okay. One, when the Sulaco goes down, we don't know how much time. It had to have been pretty quick because the facehuggers only have a limited lifespan anyway. So we know from the time that they went into hibernation, either an egg hatched and went with a mission, or it was floating around, whatever the case is, we know that there was a small amount of time that booger had to get them. How fast are their ships? How fast? Because we know that in the first movie, they had been floating around for 60 years just to get to the one place they were going already.
Mm-hmm.
Prometheus was like 100 years before they were supposed to reach that planet until they went through that electrical storm, and it woke up the crew to fix the problem. So here's the thing. She gets scanned on the pod, and Utani says, we'll be there within, I think it was 24 hours or 24 to 48 hours. How fast are their damn ships? And how close were they to begin with? Or were they following the Sulaco to stop the Sulaco on the way back? So both of them left simultaneously, with the Marines not knowing it, and the Wayland ship was cruising behind them. And when the Sulaco left and said, "I'm leaving," they said, "Okay, we'll meet." Dun, dun, dun. And then they eject. And then the Sulaco finds out where they went with the emergency beacon and a scan. Then they show up. That's the only way I could see that happening in this movie, based on the times that we've already seen in the other movies. Space travel is not Star Trek here.
Yeah.
Space travel in this is real time.
Or what if they do it like did it this way? Had Hicks eject Ripley and Newt or whatever, and he don't die. Say the movie takes place half on the ship or half on the planet. So on the ship, it's like Alien 1. On the planet, it's like Alien 2. Hicks is on the ship trying to kill this thing and get to Newt and Ripley.
Save them. He's got to clear the problem there first.
And while they're down there, they're dealing with the alien problem down there too.
Yeah, that would have been a good tie-in.
See, like that. Oh man, who the hell is writing these damn movies?
Slacker named.
I mean, the movie went through development hell. I'm not gonna lie.
Dan O'Brien and Ronald Shusett. Screenplay by a guy named Larry Ferguson, Walter Hill, and Dollar Geiler, whatever his name is. Anyway, yeah, it's their fault.
See, look, there's even a mention saying there's some scenes they shot without a script. And they had so many directors and stuff coming in, writers and directors coming in, and all that stuff. So that the film does.
Well, they did it without Ridley Scott, basically. A guy who developed the first movie. So
I personally, I think this is what they need to do with the next Alien film. I think they need to remake 3. I know that they were talking about doing the Alien 5, and it was going to pick up at the events of 2.
Well, see, that would skip 3 altogether. 4.
Yeah, they was going to skip 3. They was going to skip all the rest of them.
Yeah.
They was gonna retcon it.
Well, yeah, you would end up just redoing the whole damn. I mean, just literally what we just talked about. They could have made a damn movie
Mm-hmm.
and been done with it. We want free movie stuff, by the way. You know, that would have been worked great. But I mean, it is what it is. I mean, and, you know, unfortunately, like Highlander 2, Aliens 3 should have pretty much never been done or never been done as it was because it left a lot to be desired. And left again, we've only hit a small handful of plot holes in less than 30 minutes. Easily, you know, why all this problem? Why all these? Why?
And one of the biggest problems in the film, which they could, I guess they could wrap it around this, is Ripley was impregnated.
But when?
But it ain't even just when. She went like days before it
Oh
showed
yeah,
up.
yeah. And see, all the other ones, it's been within hours.
And
You
I
know,
think the only way I would spin it, I would say this. I would accept that they said this. Queen aliens take a little longer to gestate.
well, they are pretty big.
Yeah, I would say they take longer. You can say drones are a dime a dozen. So yeah, they pop out faster.
Couple hours, we're good to go. Pop out, and a couple hours later, they're all ready to go.
And then you say the queen takes a couple of days.
Yeah, because
Like,
it took quite a bit of time before that little burger popped out.
yeah, she was like what? What she was there like 4 days, 3 or 4 days? No,
At least 3 days.
yeah, like 3 days.
Because she was already impregnated when she landed. So that whenever that, but see, that's the thing. We don't know when or how. So
We
that
don't
leaves
even know how long they was in the water.
exactly. You know, there's a big question mark there. Plus the fact that you know we went for days. I think it was at least 3 days before the little booger decided to pop out, and then you know she even had the guts to hang on to the bad boy until she fell into the goop.
Yeah. I got another thing I'm interested in. In the first Alien movie, they established that if a male alien is by himself, what he'll do is he'll start cocooning people and
Turning him into eggs.
either turn them into eggs or he'll turn into a queen if the situation's that dire. It was both.
It was what they were in the Alien One said if that's what happened to the captain of the
Yeah,
Nostradamus. He basically was being turned into an egg.
yeah, because the first guy that the alien got, he was
He,
turning into an egg too.
yeah, he was supposed to be turned into an egg so that it could propagate and either create more drones or, if necessary, do a queen. They didn't really throw the queen part in there. They just said that in order to propagate, you know, because that drone will eventually die like a bee.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to have the next line. So it would have created an egg, which would have waited with a face hugger until the next victim showed up, and then continued on. And the other thing that they tell you is that the alien species or the xenomorphs that we know have genetic memory. That's how they explained Ripley having all the knowledge of the previous Ripley, the original Ripley, because all the memories of the previous hosts and the alien were all together. That's how she knew all this stuff. You know, everything about how she could speak and talk. Even though she's a clone, she shouldn't be able to do anything. She should be basically an infant with just a giant infant. And they were like surprised when she was able to talk and move and do stuff. And that's when they figured that the xenomorphs had genetic memory. So in this case, you know, the xenomorph creates the egg, creates the face hugger. The face hugger passes on the next memory. So they just keep on going until they eventually get to somewhere they have a feast of fun or whatever the case may be. So that was a little interesting tidbit about the alien critters.
And that's what I wanted to. I just thought about it. Like that creature didn't do that in this movie.
No,
That
they
creature
they just
killed
freaking
everybody.
well they had everything available. Yeah, that's why I mean there were still a lot of people left. But remember, you know, it was a drone that was loose first.
But that's
So
that's why I was going back to the consistency of the first movie. I'm like, okay, if that drone was gonna try to turn people into eggs, shouldn't this one done the same thing too?
You would think, or at least it gets rid of. Well, again, get rid of the threats first, and then get the weaklings, and use them for everything else. Or I was really hungry. I don't know, but
See, here go the yeah. Did you see the assembly cut?
no, I've only seen the movie like 1.5 times since it came out.
Okay, here got some scenes from the assembly cut that the things they changed. Uh, in the assembly cut, it was a dead ox that the face hugger infected, and not a dog. Which the dead ox are stupid. I like the
That
fact that it got
explains
the
that
dog.
toy though. See, that explains the toy because there was an ox xenomorph, and there was a dog xenomorph for the action figures for this movie,
Yeah,
and so that explains that. Hmm.
here got another one. Ripley's unconscious body washes up on the shore of the planet instead of being found in the ship's wreckage. I could have rolled with that.
Leaves it open. Sure.
Let's see. It has some scenes to focus more on the religious views of the inmates. That would have helped. That would have helped actually flesh out the inmates. I did see this one where the inmates. You remember that scene where they tried to lure it to that room by setting everything on fire, setting the vents on fire,
Yeah.
but it killed a guy and it backfired.
Yeah. Blew him out. Yeah.
So in this cut, they managed to put him in there. They managed to get him in there.
Hmm.
Uh, uh, they managed to get him trapped in there, but the thing escaped by the one guy that saw it and then he went crazy.
Oh yeah.
He let the thing out again.
Oh, what a freaking idiot.
It's weird. He kept calling. He let the thing out and the thing killed him. um, it got another scene where at the prison's assembly hall, one of the inmates suggested Dylan that they lead the creature to the furnace so that they can incinerate it.
Yeah.
Okay, that'd been
That
good.
was in a movie.
Let's see. Oh, that's it. It was a little bit here and there, but that's about it. I'm going to go online and actually look up some of this footage. Okay, I'm gonna actually go look up this footage. See some more of these deleted scenes. Again, I still say they should not have killed Charles Dance's character, not the way they did it.
But they have. Well, that's why I was like, it kind of made sense, because I remember there was actually a couple other things from that movie, but I guess they just tied them in. But I remember there was a dog. I remember there was like a bull or a yak or I don't know what the hell it was, some kind of horned critter, like
Yeah,
a bull or something. I remember that,
yeah, it
and
was.
then I think there was like a tie-in to like a comic or a pre-comic where they had like a flying snake looking thing, and something else just to show that the diversification of whatever gets impregnated by by the facehuggers
They
turns
take on them
into
traits.
it keeps those traits to the critter, as they develop and grow. So, there's still some commonality, but for the most part, that black rough Geiger skin looking thing, crazy looking, was there. So, but I think that's one of the cooler aspects of the xenomorphs themselves is that they adapt to whatever it is, and that was great to tie into the alien AVP because, and if you had not read that, then you would not understand how they actually propagate. So that's pretty cool.
Let me ask you this then, and I'll leave it at this. When it comes to the way that they killed the alien, are you satisfied with that ending?
Melting it or trying to melt it.
And yeah, they do the fire shock, flash shock, or cold shock, whatever is it called.
Oh, shatter! Yeah, they dump the water on it and then shatter it in a gajillion pieces.
Yeah, you think that was like a good way for them to kill it?
I think that was better than melting it, because we've already seen them X5 extremes. You
Mm-hmm.
know, we've already seen them get hit by flame. We've already, you know, we know that there's a tolerance to some parts. I think it made a great visual for sure. You know, considering they had no guns on the planet, no defense means whatsoever, and so for them to create a plan, fire up the blast furnaces, get that goop going, lure the creature in, you know, hold it long enough to pour it. The guy sacrificing himself, you know, to keep it down there as long as they could pour the goo. I think it made a great visual impact that together they did something, even though most people were eventually dead anyway,
Mm-hmm.
that they were able to pull that off. So to me, I think that was cool. I think that was a very interesting visual way of going.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, to me, granted, with no, I mean, what else were you going to do? I mean, you're not going to physically beat it because it'll just chop you into pieces. I mean, because there's nobody there that's that strong or that fast to even put up with one of those things. The tail alone would kill you.
Yeah.
So, you know, and the fact that they were able to devise all this plan, you know, the A-team method, basically, you know, get something together, get it all set, and then follow and execute it. Even though there was you know, it almost got away. I think it was a pretty cool way to go. I think it was, it worked for their environment, and it gave a really cool visual, especially when it cracked and shattered. I think that was a pretty cool visual.
All
Personally,
right. Cool. Cool. Well, I that's it. We have. I finally got it out of my system. I greatly appreciate your patience. um, but yeah, guys, in the comment section below, let us know your thoughts about how Alien 3 could have been a better movie. We went through a lot of things. We had a good conversation. Thank you again, Ken, for taking the time out to join me with this and give me your thoughts. You're awesome as usual.
I like to just come up with the different ideas of the movie, just brainstorming. That was awesome.
Mm-hmm. Guys, be sure to hit that like, share, subscribe, and that notification button to get the best of what's going on this channel. And we'll catch you guys in the next video.